I am A. Muthalaga, Assistant Professor, PG Department of Chemistry, Arulmigu Palani Andavar Arts College for Women, Palani. Today we see about water pollution. Here first, the introduction of water pollution and then the types of it and the sources of water pollution. Water is the most essential component of life. It is a unique liquid in the sense that without it, life is impossible. Then we move on. Introduction. The quality of water is degraded is called water pollution. It is unsafe for animal, human and aquatic life. The water being is a universal solvent. The water pollution disturbs the normal uses of water for irrigation, agriculture, industrial and for human composition. The water pollution is more dangerous than the air pollution. This is because the sources of water contaminated are more diverse. The contamination of water is more sensitive to propagation of life in comparison to the air pollution. Then we move on types of water pollution. The water pollution can be divided into the following categories depending on the sources and storages of water. First one is the groundwater pollution, and then second one is surface water pollution, and then third one is seawater pollution. Then we move on the groundwater pollution. Water is considered to be a gift of nature. Over 98% of the fresh water on the earth lies underground in the form of groundwater. It is the main source of drinking water for about 50% of population in the global scale. Groundwater gets polluted due to the human activities. Example, industrial, domestic and agriculture activities. Generally, groundwater contaminated is irreversible. This led to degradation of water qualities like taste, odor and excessive hardness. Then we move on. Surface water pollution. The surface water is the form of rivers, streams and lakes is present in the extent of only 0.0091% of the total global water. Our society are responsible for surface water pollution. Various processes and materials may be polluted freshwater bodies. Some sources of surface water pollution are given in the table of below. The sources of contamination and the contaminated discharged in the groundwater. First one is agricultural runoffs. The agricultural runoffs are agrochemicals like pesticides and herbicides, fungicides. The accidental spills of chemicals. The different chemicals are like this. Leaks from the surface storage tanks are pipelines. The gasolines and the oils are the example for it. The runoff from industrial sites like factories, mines, etc. The solvent and chemicals. Finally, the radioactive materials processing plants. The radioactive materials are from these types of pollution. And the seawater pollution. Ocean are the major resources of water in the world. The water bodies are covered more than 70% of Earth's surface. Due to population explosion and depletion of the land resources, the food materials are being used more and more. In this respect, the human beings are responsible for destroying the aquatic environment. We move on the sources of water pollution. Water is the only natural resources available in plenty and essential for the survival of all living organisms. However, clean water has become a precious commodity since its quality is degraded by various sources of pollution. Some of these sources are sewage and domestic waste, then industrial effluent and agricultural discharges and soaps and detergent, and toxic or heavy metals, thermal pollution and petroleum or oil spills. First one is sewage and domestic waste. The world sewage is generally used for combined liquid waste discharged from all domestic and industrial sources. It consists of mixture of all liquid and domestic waste, including the urine, soap, and detergents. The total spent water of the community flowing through a sewer is referred as a municipal waste. It is believed that about 70% of water pollution is caused by the sewage and domestic waste. There is uncontrolled dumping of waste from rural areas, town and cities into the water bodies due to population explosion. Most of the sewage or municipal waste receive no treatment, particularly in most of the undeveloped countries and same development countries also. Then industrial fluent. The industrial wastewater result from all manufacturing industries. These discharges are contaminated with materials used in the plants, manufacture end products. The types of pollutant depends on the various industrial process. The industrial pollution include suspended matters, surfactants, etc. The most trouble are sulfate, nitrates, ammonium salt, and salt of heavy metals and oils, etc. These affect the color, taste, and odor of the water in water bodies. These pollutants are affected the dissolved oxygen, biochemical oxygen demand, and chemical oxygen demand of water. Then the agrochemical industries. The most of the agrochemical industries, example fertilizer, insecticide, herbicide, and fungicides, are used in large quantities for better and quality crops. These are made by various industrial processes. The discharges from these industrials contain various toxic chemicals, and when discharged into the water bodies are responsible for the number of adverse effects. The fertilizers are essential plant nutrients. When fertilizer containing sulfate, nitrate, and phosphates are added to the soil, some of these are waste or runoff the rainfall. During the rainfall, these agrochemicals are carried as suspended particles into the water bodies and create a problem. Finally, soaps and detergent. The soaps are sodium salt or fatty acids. A common class of detergent is alkyl benzene sulfonate. Both soaps and detergent contain non-polar and hydrophobic group as well as the polar and hydrophilic group. Due to the presence of hydrophobic as well as the hydrophilic group, both soaps and detergent lower the surface tension of the water and aid in the wetting of clothes, etc. And the emulsifying and dispersing of soil or dirt particles. Such suspenders are called surfactants. The soaps causes virtually no environmental problems since they are biodegradable and aquatic system. They are degradable by the microorganism in presence of oxygen into harmless products. The disadvantage of using soaps in that they do not function efficiently in hot water. The calcium and magnesium ions present in hot water reacted with soap to produce precipitate of calcium and magnesium salt of fatty acids. This leads to waste of soaps. Also, the precipitates of calcium and magnesium salt adhere to the fabric and stain them. Further, in acidic medium, the soaps are precipitated as fatty acids. The detergents, on other hand, are not completely biodegradable when they discharge into the water bodies. A part of detergent always persists and causes of environmental problems. It has been found in the detergent having branched chain as less biodegradable than this having a linear carbon chain. These are the problems of water pollution. Thank you.